My name is James Wagner, and to begin, I must disclose that I do work as a transportation planner for INCOG. However, today I am here not as an INCOG representative, but on my own as a citizen of Tulsa. If you will, I'm incognito.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But I'm here today to ask that you consider reinvesting in neighborhoods citywide by creating a neighborhood identity and reinvestment fund. Through this fund, neighborhoods could apply to complete small to medium-sized projects to do things like recapitalize community-wide assets like masonry walls on the edges of the neighborhoods or establish community gardens. To leverage the city's investment, neighborhoods could be required to raise matching funds. Although I'm a native Tulsan, I spent 3 years living in Atlanta while in graduate school. During that time, I had the opportunity to observe that while Atlanta is a metropolitan area of 6 million people, it was actually a collection of smaller, unique neighborhoods that made it feel like a small community within a large metropolitan area. Part of that uniqueness came from the strength of its neighborhoods and their ability to develop distinctive identities. It made living in a large metropolitan area feel like living in a small town, but with all the benefits of a large city. This investment adds to the competitive advantage Tulsa has as it competes for a larger share of population growth. I returned to Tulsa 6 years ago and established a neighborhood association near 21st and Sheridan by canvassing over 1,000 homes. The neighborhood association still exists today. Within a few months, we had established a fledgling voluntary neighborhood association. However, I soon learned that raising money for simple neighborhood improvements, like adding identification signage on the back of stop signs, was challenging, especially when there were no mandatory dues, as is the case for most of Tulsa's neighborhoods. As the city of Tulsa competes for a larger share of metropolitan growth, a key component to that competitive advantage will be strong neighborhoods with access to the city's entertainment districts and job centers. Most of the city's housing stock is now over 50 years old and in need of reinvestment. 1 out of every 8 properties in Tulsa is vacant. But by focusing on common neighborhood assets, the city can leverage its ability to make public improvements that attract private investment. Reinvestment in neighborhoods is also a public safety tool. In Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, he points out that an essential element to crime prevention is to confront, quote, broken windows. In other words, to recognize that small signs of neglect in neighborhoods invite increased crime and reduced neighborhood cohesion. But the reverse is also true. Attention to small elements reduce crime and invite more neighborhood cohesion. There are many areas of the city that have no name recognition. Of course, there's the many familiar neighborhoods of Maple Ridge, Brookside, and Florence Park. But many areas of the city lack a true, unique identity, adding to the anonymity that can lead to neglect, leading to more broken windows. With that in mind, I'm proposing that $10 million of vision funding be set aside for a neighborhood identity and reinvestment fund to capitalize projects that add a sense of place and identity to the city's older neighborhoods. Examples of projects like this could be exterior neighborhood fences or masonry walls along arterial streets, identification signs at entrances, community gardens or food forests which utilize vacant lots, reinvestment in neighborhood pools, or pocket parks that utilize vacant lots or floodplain areas. There's a strong precedent for this approach. In the Vision 2025 program, $21 million were allocated to a neighborhood and downtown and neighborhoods fund. As a result, downtown now has several distinct districts, helped in part by this investment. Additionally, many neighborhoods did apply and make investments to improve community assets, but the work of recapitalizing neighborhoods is not complete. With this new opportunity, neighborhoods would apply through the city's planning or economic development department and could be required to show at least 25% matching funds to be eligible, encouraging the neighborhoods to raise its own matching funds or secure them from private or philanthropic sources. By creating this fund, neighborhoods citywide have the opportunity to take ownership of their future by unlocking their creative potential. These investments will foster the creation of unique neighborhoods, enhance city beautification, and aid in neighborhood cohesion and promote public safety. Thank you for considering reinvestment in Tulsa's neighborhoods.